G'day, Alfonso here, showing you how to edit your photos from your mobile phone on a free mobile app called Snapseed. So here we have an image I took in my home studio, and I'll just run through quickly how I photographed this. You can see here I've got a very simple setup with some foam board, and I've just bought some A3 or A2 size paper and just put that onto the foam board. And on the left side, I also bought a silver colored paper, which is very reflective, and that is basically reflecting the light back onto the subject, being the flower. It's just window light. See on the right side of my home office, you've got some natural light coming in. It's bouncing off the foam board there with a reflector, and that way you can get a nice bright image. Now I'm going to bring this image into Snapseed, and I'll run through some basic tools. Crop tool to start with. I can keep the original crop ratio, so down the bottom here I can tap on the bottom center right to access the crop ratios. If I choose the free crop, I can crop from any side. If I choose the original, I can keep the proportions. So that means as I drag this in, it keeps the 4:3 or 3:4 crop ratio. I'll tick that. I'll go back in, and I might add some details to this photo. So if I look through, when I put my finger onto the image gently, I have the submenu. Structure basically means that when I pinch and zoom and I slide it backward, it takes away the texture or noise or grain. If I slide it the other way, it adds more texture. It's a bit hard to tell because the image is of a yellow color, but you can see how it gets smoother as I go left and has more texture detail when I go right. So I might go with the texture detail, and I'll choose to sharpen it a little bit too. I don't want to over sharpen it. It might look broken in the color if I do. So once you get it to a point that you're happy with, then you can tick the box on the bottom right. And go back into the options for other tools here, and I will go with the vignette option, which is down the bottom here. And what the vignette tool does, I'll just pinch back out. You can see wherever I move this circle, I can pinch and zoom to make it bigger and smaller. So I've just done a rough circle around the flower, and there are two options here. So I can make the inner brightness area brighter and the outer brightness darker, which it is now. I don't want to make it too dark. It might look unnatural if I do that. That's why it's just slowly or gradually darkening on the edge and slowly or gradually brightening on the inner circle. I'll tick that, go back into my tools, and I might just add a little bit of contrast. So up on the top left, there's a tune image option, and in here I can add some contrast. That way I separate the colors a bit more. And in the ambient section, I can also go backward. You can see when I go forward, it just separates the tones too much, but the ambience going backward helps for this. My highlights are the bright parts of the photo, aka the yellow parts of the flower. So if I go backward on that, I make those a little darker to give it more detail. And then if I want to add some more detail and shadow, I can go forward with that. So I'm scrolling to the right. So now if I tick the box and I put my finger on the image, you can see the before and after, before and after. So to view what I've done so far, on the top right curved arrow, I click on View Edits, and here you can see each layer individually before and after. That's the original. So I'll go back to the top one and leave that as is and click done. And there you have it.